Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. Now in this video I want to talk about the Multipick Jackknife Pocket Pick Set, and I want to talk about the accessibility of it. Is this a pick set that I can use when I'm having a lot of arthritic pain in my hands, my wrists, my elbows, and I'm having a hard time working with like my covert instrument picks or the other multi-pick lock picks that I've got, or my Sparrow's monkey paw set, or any of the other lock picks that are in my collection. Can this pick set allow me to continue to do a hobby that I have fallen in love with? So let's actually talk a little bit about the pick set here and what comes with it. Now, I got the Black Line edition that had the 10 additional tips, and if you're going to get this, I do recommend getting the 10 additional tips because the variety of tips that you get are really good. It will only hold 6 picks at one time, and so it is rather limiting in terms of the options with that. So I've had this for about a month now, and I've been using it for single pin picking. So I changed the configuration from the default configuration to include all hook pins in it. And so by default, when you get the just the jackknife, you get 5 picks in an extractor. So you get a snake rake, you get a um, small half diamond, you get a hook number 2, a half ball, and a city rake with that. And then you have an extractor that comes with it. Now, when you get the 10 additional tips, you get 2 different snake rakes. There's a shallow snake rake and a deeper snake rake. You get a triple peak rake. You get a double half ball. You get the a larger half diamond pick, and then you get a couple of different hook picks. You get the hook number 1, hook number 3, and then they've got a hook dental 1 and hook dental 2. And so that you will often kind of find to be like the DeForest, and they're more bent and all that. So I'll show those in a little bit because I've got those in this in the casing here. So let's talk about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like. And the first thing that comes up is the turning tool that comes with this. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say this. I absolutely hate the turning tool that comes with this. It just rubs me the wrong way. I can't use it. It makes this more difficult to utilize accessibility wise. So you know, the only way that you can store the turning tool in here is by putting it in the casing like this. And so if I go back to our image here, you can notice that in the US it would be referred to as a bottom keyway turner. You have to remember that Multipick is a European-based company. So when we look at the Euro cylinder, those are often installed with the pins down. And in the US, or when we're working with locks in the US, you often see us working with the pins upward because that's the configuration that's most common here, from my understanding. And in Europe, you get the other orientation here. So if I was going to do bottom of the keyway with my master lock here, bottom of the keyway tension, this type of turning tool works really well. I would grab my I had it right here, and I got one right here. Okay, my covert companion, Z-bar here that's 0.040 inches wide. Put it in the bottom the keyway there, and it allows me to tension it just fine. Now, if I want to use top of the keyway tension here, then I would grab a turning wrench like this that would go up near the pins here, and then I can tension off the lock that way. On a Euro cylinder, if you're going to tension a lock kind of where the key pins are, you can use a lock or a turning wrench like this and just put that in there, and you can now tension off the top of the keyway this way. So the turning wrench that's in here gives me a lot of problems getting out. So, I can't slide it out this way. I can't slide it out that way. It's really tight in there, and it's just a pain to get out. So I don't use it a lot or keep it in there a lot because it's really, really difficult to get out. The other thing, it's a very, very narrow turning wrench. So in comparison, this is the turning tension tool that I use the most. This is Covert Companion. This is 0.040 inches wide. And if I grab my calipers here, and let's go ahead and take a look at the width here. Let me just make sure we're zeroed. We're at, oops, it reset to millimeters. Let me, 0.026 inches. So it is almost half of what this turning wrench is. And that is a problem for me because if I say you want to use this in like my master lock here, what it does is it wedges itself in the bottom here. And if I go to use it at the top of the keyway, what happens is there's so much space here that when I am trying to do tension control, it will just pop out. You'll notice that if I hold it like this, it's not 90 degrees, it's offset. And so as I turn it in that, it loosens up and then it pops out. So I don't like the turning wrench, or the tension tool with it. It's really on my hate list. I don't use it. I throw it in a bin here and never touch it. So, I'm actually going to do that right now and get it out of my sight. So let's talk about the actual picks and all of that. Now, what I do like about it is this is comfortable and it is easy to get the picks out. You got a screw on the back end here. You just loosen that. And then you can just bring all the picks out. You can select the pick that you want. I'll do the half diamond here and tighten that screw. And it's actually pretty stable. And it's pretty comfortable in the hands. Now the other thing with the picks that I will say is they are a bit narrow. They are, I think, 5 millimeters. So let's go ahead and actually measure that, and I'm going to change over to the millimeters here. And I don't want to say 5 millimeters, I want to say 0.5 millimeters. Yep, 0.5 millimeters. So that's about 0.020 inches or 0.019 inches in width. So they're not the thicker ones, they are all kind of the medium narrowness and all that, which is good because that gets you into more locks. And when you're looking at a Euro cylinder, those are often tighter keyways. And so I can use this to open up like my American Lock 1100 series. I can, work on the Yale with it. I can work on a lot of other locks that are the more difficult locks to open because that is a really good width of the picks. So I will say that I don't have a lot of the 0.0 or 0.5 millimeter picks and all that, so it's good to have a nice variety of it. The other thing that's really nice with it is when I go to fold the picks back in, they all fold in really nicely. They don't catch on each other, they're easy to put away, and so that's good. Now, let's actually talk picking before we get into the other options here. It's pretty good. I mean, it's comfortable. It's not one of my favorites, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out one of my American 1100s, and we're going to pick that open because I just recorded a video, so it's good to see kind of the timing difference with it. Now, when I'm holding the pick like this to pick the pins upwards, I do run into a problem. It is kind of comfortable. It is a little blocky, and it's smooth, and so it does slip around the fingers really, really easily. I kind of wish that maybe I'll take a look and see if I can add a texture to it, just to make it a little bit more grippy. But you know, it is a nice, you know, at least here's a nice wide handle. It's comparable to the lock wall tools that I have and all that. I do notice that every once in a while, pick does like to kind of pop out the top here. Um, so when I have one out, so that is just kind of one thing that I do notice is that when I do have one in, it's like here I can kind of pull this one pick out. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But this pick is in there nice and tight. But what happens is when I'm holding it like this, you'll notice where my thumb is. My thumb's on that screw. And that screw, if you rotate it counterclockwise, loosens the pick. And so counterclockwise on this side is moving the thumb forward. So as I'm picking, what I will notice I do often is my thumb will kind of move forward and the pick becomes loose and it becomes really annoying with that. Now, again, you need to keep in mind that it's a European country or that manufactures this, so you're working with Euro cylinders primarily. And so you're going to hold the pick like this. And this is very, very comfortable. And I do want to learn how to pick locks in a downward fashion. So this might be a pick set that I use for that because it does have a nice variety of picks, point, uh, 0.5 millimeters in width. It is comfortable holding it this way, and I don't run into that problem because your finger goes right here. So you're actually getting a nice little tactile feel with that there. So, you know, you do have to remember that that distinction when you're looking at a pick set like this. But let me grab the American lock here and let's see about getting it open here. So let me grab my top of the keyway tension here and let's see how long it takes me to get this guy open. Ah, ooh, did I lose it? Ah, kept it. Good. All right. So you can see it's not bad. You know, if I had to rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, I would go, you know, 4. Um, in terms of the comfort, in terms of the use of it, I like it. Now, the other thing about it, oh, before I move on to changing the picks and all that, you know, talking about the rating and all that, you know, the thing that for me though is that would I use this like with an everyday carry? No, because I can't carry a tension wrench with it, or the tension tool with it because it's so hard for me to get out. I just wouldn't use this for that. I would use my covert companions as my everyday carry and all that. So having another option in terms of the tension tool would be kind of nice on here in terms of just another way of being able to get that tension tool out would be nice. But let's go ahead and, as I said before, I want to kind of change this so that I can use some of the picks that I don't have. So, you know, when I was talking about my the picks over here, I don't really have these snake rakes that they've got. I do have one snake rake, but I don't have these others like the shallow and the deep one. I don't have a triple peak rake, and I don't have the double snowball or this deep half diamond here. And so what I want to do is I want to take these here and throw them in here. And that way I've got a pick set of picks that I don't have that I can utilize. I've got all these other picks in the I think these are the dental picks that they're talking about here, these two, the ones that are bent, I got those in my lock laws. I've got with the rest of these in my lock laws or in sparrows. I've got those. So I'm going to go through and just put picks in here that I don't have. So changing the picks is actually pretty straightforward. You have a hex screw here that you have to loosen, and I do have it on rather tight, so and I could have done it with the other way to get more tension, but I gotta make things difficult sometimes. So I'm gonna remove that. And what I find is kind of useful to have are pinning tweezers, because you can grab that screw and just remove that. And these just slide out. And so now what you want to do is you want to put in your rake picks or your new picks. And so what I want to make sure is that when I have these in, that they're oriented in the direction that I want. So I want to change that snake that way. I want the bumps facing upwards. Let's go ahead and put in the triple in the middle. And then let's do the double ball and the large half diamond here. Alright, and so when I have this in here, I want those to face upward. So we're going to do that. I'm going to flip them over. Now this comes to be the tricky part, because what you gotta do is keep these in line when you're putting in the screw again. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now one thing that I did discover with this is you can see these are pretty loose, which is okay. You know, it's but I like to have them a little bit tighter so that that way, you know, they'll at least stay in place as I'm sorting through them. Also, you know, when I was mentioning before about that one pick that would come out while I was picking, so if I say take the snake rake here and do that, you'll see that that comes out a lot easier. So I want to tighten this a bit more. So my recommendation with this would be to just kind of make sure that when you go through and you get the picks that you want in there, you just take this and you tighten it pretty good. In some ways, you want to tighten it tighter than you think you need, because then you can see those now stay in place pretty nicely and pretty well. And now I can just select the pick that I want, put those in place, and now if I even do that, you'll see that that pretty much stays in place now. So there we go. There's the Multipick Jackknife Pocket Pick Set. Overall, I think it's okay. It won't be the pick set that I grab the most if I'm hurting, but you know, it's an option for me. So I hope everybody liked this video. Do feel free to like and comment on the video if you did like it. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and I will see you all later.